Alright guys, so today I'm going to talk about how language learning does not depend on your IQ and your intelligence. It does not matter how dumb you are. You can indeed learn a language, a foreign language, and you can learn multiple in that fact. Because our brains are specifically wired to acquire languages as humans. So for us, learning languages is a part of what makes us human. This is why even the dumbest person can speak a language, right? The dumbest person can say the dumbest type of shit, right? That's the thing, right? So that's proof that even a dumb person can learn a language because he's able to say dumb shit. The fact that he can say dumb shit proves that, okay, he's dumb enough, he can still learn a language. He can still acquire languages. So languages have nothing to do with intelligence. Now, can a higher IQ accelerate the language acquisition process? Maybe, right? That's the thing. But it's not going to be a noticeable difference. So if someone of 150 IQ versus someone that was really dumb, if they spent the same amount of time, same amount of Anki, right? If you were to race, see which one, who would learn the language faster, maybe the guy with the 150 IQ might be able to reach fluency a little bit faster than the guy who's dumb. But the guy who's dumb will still be really close to the guy who's really smart. Because because it's not your conscious brain that figures it out. It's your subconscious brain that figures it out. That's the difference, right? Your IQ is dependent on your conscious, memory, your conscious self. But your subconscious brain is the one that actually does most of the heavy lifting for you in terms of decoding grammar and vocabulary in order to understand messages, right? And this is something that you're not doing. Your other brain is doing. So your other brain is learning the language for you, not you. You are your conscious brain, right? But your subconscious brain is just doing it for you. So that's why IQ is not really relevant, because if you just put the right practices in, right? If you immerse and you do a combination of SRS Anki, you will get fluent guaranteed if you just get enough exposure, because your brain will figure it out for you eventually. You just have to trust the process and just continue. Now, when it comes to using very ineffective methods that don't work, like formal teaching, like grammar drills, over-relying too much on Anki, even though I do think Anki is great for learning languages, if you overly rely on it without doing any immersion, that's a trap. Maybe for this method, yes, the person of higher IQ will beat the guy that's dumb, because the guy that's dumb won't be able to do any grammar drills. The guy that's dumb won't be able to conjugate verbs, won't be able to memorize vocabulary, because that's too hard for him, because that's all conscious work. Right? Whereas the guy that's high IQ, maybe this guy can't actually learn the language like that, right? Consciously. But that's because they're using a very ineffective method, right? That solely relies on your conscious brain. When you're memorizing grammar and doing verb conjugations, you're relying on your conscious memory, not your subconscious ability to decode language. That's the difference. Right? When you're immersing yourself in the language, your subconscious brain is the one that's doing everything. So why are you trying to do everything consciously? Just relax, man. Relax, dude. Learning language is easy. It's literally easy. It's that easy, guys. But it's very difficult to execute, right? Because most people can't stay consistent enough to immerse in language for their brains to eventually figure it out. But once you figure it out, it's actually pretty easy. You didn't really have to do much intellectual thinking and verb conjugations in your head. You just had to basically give your body exposure to the language, or your brain exposure to the language, and then your brain figured it out for you, right? So this has nothing to do with your conscious brain. And that's the thing I love about languages, is that you don't need to have high IQ to learn a language. You don't need to maybe high IQ can help, because high IQ can help you maybe infer the meanings of words that you don't know. Whereas a dumb person might not be able to do that as good, but it's still going to be the same progress. They're still relatively going to achieve fluency at relatively the same rate, right? So that's the thing. A lot of people cannot learn abstract knowledge about science. A lot of people are not fit to be able to go to medical school, because if you want to do medical school and learn about the anatomy of the body, the physiology of the body, and learning all these facts and abstract concepts, it requires a very high level of intelligence, right? A certain level. Not everyone can be a doctor, right? Not everyone has the brains to be able to learn these type of subjects. But the thing with us is that all humans are wired to learn languages, right? Because it's based off our survival to basically survive in tribes, right? We worked in tribes, so we had to communicate. So basically languages was part of our survival. And the reality is we're built for survival. So that's why our bodies will force itself to learn languages if you give it the right environment. So it has nothing to do with intelligence. But so everyone can learn a language. It doesn't matter how dumb you are, because it's not based off how smart you are. It's based off your actual ability, your subconscious ability to decode it, which comes not from you but from your subconscious brain. So yeah, guys, really, like, IQ doesn't matter, and I don't think you should worry about it either.